What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a Saturday college football edition of Dudes Who Bet Daily. And what a college football Saturday it is, Papa Dude. We have a loaded slate coming up here.
We don't have any what you call monster games, but there's a million interesting ones today that are going to have implications down the line on these playoffs. So, yes, you're absolutely right. This is going to be fun.
And Magic, you get to go see the Wings play tonight. How is your record as a fan attending games live? Because I know my Blues record is atrocious.
Me too.
It's pretty good. It helps that I didn't really go see them much in the last decade. So I think I've only been twice, but in the last decade. But yeah, I'm excited. I haven't seen them in it's been 3 or 4 years since I last saw them. So I'm excited to go back and get to see them again. They're here in Los Angeles playing the Kings tonight.
I love it. Go back to the glory days when you got to see them in Detroit when they were a solid hockey team. I like. Is that a Hasha Cat? Is that what we're rocking there?
Nice. You bet it.
Good luck. Good luck. All right, let's jump into college football. We will start there because there is a ton to talk about. We'll start with a noon kickoff here, Papa Dude. LSU headed into Arkansas. LSU laying 3.5, a must-win for them, now up to 7th in the nation. I'm not a fan of Jaden Daniels even a little bit, but he keeps winning for them.
I know, and this we were talking here just off air just a minute ago. If you live in this part of the country like we do, LSU Arkansas is a huge rivalry. You wouldn't think it is, but it really is. This is an interesting game because I'm just like you. I don't know if he's that good. Here's the kicker on this one. Can they get back up after that tremendous win over Alabama last week to come into Fayetteville, Arkansas, to play an Arkansas team that's got to be reeling from a loss to Liberty? And in the next 2 weeks, Arkansas plays LSU and Ole Miss at home. They can save what's been a disappointing season for them with 2 wins. They're maybe one of the best 5-4 teams in the country. I don't know what happened last week. I couldn't watch because I was on the road. I think this has upset written all over it. I really do. If Arkansas is ready to play, I think they can win this game. So this is one you might look at a little bit.
Yeah, I think both LSU and Bama are an upset alert here. We'll talk about this Bama game as well. They're headed into Ole Miss. Their season's essentially, I'm not going to say it's over, but man, it took a hard left turn there. It's going to be difficult for them to make the playoff. They need a ton of help. It's one of those classic situations where you have a letdown game after your season has been more or less ended for you. That's what Bama's facing, and they're laying 11 on the road against a good Ole Miss team.
I agree with you. We don't know what Bama's psyche is going to be. They haven't been in this situation in years. I think there's some issues going on there. This is not your typical Bama team. They're making too many mistakes. So I don't know what's going on there. I've watched a lot of them. Defensively, they're not very good. And really, you take away the quarterback, they're not very good on offense either. They have struggled. They could easily have lost 4 games. Don't forget, Texas A&M had them beat in Tuscaloosa. Now, I do know their quarterback didn't play, and that makes Bryce Young didn't play. And that makes a huge difference. Now, getting into this, here's the thing that bothers me a little bit about Mississippi. If you look at their schedule, they have beat absolutely nobody. So they're 8-1, but they haven't beat anybody. So, and I can't get over the fact that LSU killed them when they played them down in Baton Rouge. But I'm on the bandwagon with you. Too many points.
Yeah.
Too many points, and I don't know whether Alabama's going to come out and play hard. You would think they will. That's a very proud group, and you would think they would get ready to play. I don't know how big that rivalry is, but fascinating game today. And a friend of Aaron's lives, you may have met him up at Keeneland also. He lives there, and it's the biggest game Ole Miss has had in years. So it's going to be wild.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think this is a rivalry for Mississippi,
yes.
Not so much for Alabama.
Right.
And you're playing in Mississippi down there, Magic, one of the more fun SEC schools to go to. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely wild for this game.
With the way that things are shaping up for Alabama, the Miss fans, they've really got to be feeling especially energized. Like Alabama is bleeding. Like Papa Dude outlined it really well. It's just not a traditional Alabama team. That fan base is going to be rocking. So we got kickoff at what? few hours here, right? Or
Yeah,
a
that's
few
a
minutes.
fun one. That's the 3:30 CBS game. We've got another ranked matchup going on at 7:00, and the Fox game out on your neck of the woods, Magic. It's in Oregon here. The number 6 Oregon Ducks laying 12 to the number 25 Washington Huskies. This is a major rivalry. These two teams hate each other, and it matters a lot today for Oregon. They've moved up to 8 in the rankings. They are now, I wouldn't say they have the inside track to try and get to the playoff, but man, if they win out, they're going to be tough to deny that road. 12 points in a raucous environment in a rivalry matchup. Papa Dude, did you think I'm leaning toward laying it here? Do you agree with me on that Oregon side?
You're laying it with Oregon.
I think they blow them out today.
Now I want to get Magic's perspective too, because he's out there. He's, I don't know how close he follows college football, but there's probably more news about him out there than there is here. I think they slaughter them. I do. I think Washington's a fraud. They're 7-2. They beat absolutely nobody. It's in Oregon. I think the Ducks roll. What do you think, Magic?
Bo Nix, baby. Ride Bo Nix.
Unbelievable that he is a Heisman candidate this year. And it's still unbelievable to me that it's not called the Duck Pond. They need to be playing on the Duck Pond. We got one of the weirder lines of the week.
Yes.
Number 4, TCU catching 7 at 6-3 Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, Papa Dude, this is your neck of the woods.
That's right.
How the hell is TCU catching 7 here? This seems like Magic. You're a Star Wars fan. You want to do if we had the "it's a trap" thing? That's what this feels like. They're trying to beg you to bet TCU +7.
Yes, I agree. I think, Mike, you follow this a lot more than I do. Texas and Oklahoma are always overrated in the betting circles, right? It's like today, Oklahoma's an 8.5-point favorite at West Virginia. Why? I mean, Oklahoma's done nothing to be 8.5-point favorites on the road, and West Virginia plays good, but that's another game. All right, I think Texas they get bet,
They do,
and they're coming off a big win, and no one is sold on TCU. That's the problem. No one is sold on them when all they do is win every week. They don't slaughter anybody. That's the other thing. They eke these games out. They win at the end, but the bottom line is they win. The key to this game is simply this. Can TCU stop Texas? Because TCU's defense is not very good. Now, Texas is not going to be able to stop them either. What's the over-under on that one? This could be a 38-35 game.
65 is the total. Actually, one of the lower totals of the games we talked about. The Oregon game's over at 72.5. We'll get to one in a second. It's almost up to 80 as well.
Yeah. Everybody's picking TCU. I am too. 7 points. Now, if it was 3, you got to think about it a little bit more, but 7. Yeah.
I'm really interested to see the ticket count on this game. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I see I've got 65% of the public is on TCU.
It feels a little bit like this Tennessee game last week where we saw Tennessee had almost 90% of the tickets and everyone was playing them. The books refused to move that line in Georgia's direction, even though all the tickets were coming on Tennessee. We all know how that ended up with Georgia covering it home. This is the game where I look at it and I want to bet TCU.
Right.
That tells me I should probably be betting Texas here if I was going to play the game, just because it's so funky.
Absolutely. I agree with you. This is too obvious. It's too obvious. So
this is one of those. I'm gonna watch the first half, and if Texas starts to look like they're gonna roll, this is an in-game bet for me on Texas. Where if I start to see that momentum go that direction, I'm gonna trust Vegas here that Texas is that significantly a better team. Even though it's still wild that this late in the season, the number 4 team is catching 7 points against a 6-3 team in the Big 12. All right, final game we're going to talk about here. We've got North Carolina, Wake Forest. This is a 7:30 kickoff. Wake laying 4 at home. North Carolina, number 15 in the nation, 8-1, 5-0 in the ACC. Total is at 78.5. Monster number here with 2 offenses that like to move the football and 2 very, very good quarterbacks. Papa, do you want to talk about this one? Who do you like here?
This is a toughie, and this is in your neck of the woods, so you probably know more about this one than I do. I don't know what's happened to Wake. I don't know. They're coming off a horrible performance. Where was that? Was that in Louisville last week?
They turned the ball over 6 times in a quarter.
Yeah.
6 times in a quarter. That's wild. You usually have 6 possessions in a quarter.
I don't know. That's just awful. I think they had 8 total.
Yeah.
So obviously that's what's happened to them. But is this a game where they save their season by beating a very good North Carolina team? Again, when you look at North Carolina's record, they really haven't beaten anybody that's very good. They struggled. I had them picked a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't think they were ever going to turn the corner against a Pittsburgh team that's not very good, and that was in Chapel Hill. They almost lost at Virginia. Is the bubble going to burst today on the Tar Heels? Their defense is not very good. So I think I would go with, I don't know, 4.5 with Wake. That's the thing. I don't know if they can beat them that bad. That's the thing.
You look through the schedule, their only losses to Notre Dame, but they struggled against Georgia State. They struggled against Appalachian State. They struggled against Miami. They struggled against Duke. They struggled against Virginia. That is not a recipe to beat a team that can move the football up and down the field. Team total Wake Forest, something I'm interested in here, but I would lean toward Wake Forest as well. I think they get the job done. Maybe this is a money line parlay type game where you don't lay the 4.5, but you throw them in with a couple basketball games we're about to mention here as well to try and just juice up a little bit of a money line parlay.
Sounds good.
All right, let's jump over to the ice here. We've got an interesting Saturday. Magic, we're going to go to you. You are a hockey guy. And
yes, he is.
A couple games I thought were really interesting on the slate here. We're not going to talk Blues Golden Knights because, man, we're going to get slaughtered tonight. But let's talk a little about this 4 o'clock puck drop. Oilers heading into Florida to take on the Panthers. Magic, McDavid been red hot. This Panthers team been very good. What do you like here?
First of all, I like the over.
Right.
Anytime McDavid is just so damn good. Sebastian Knight's playing for Florida in net, but Edmonton is just they always remind me of like the high-powered offense in football that just tries to overcome their many deficiencies on the back half. They're not a very good team defensively. It's an exciting game because you've got an overall talented team in the Panthers, and you just have the always, like, you're always on the edge of your seat waiting for Draisaitl or McDavid or any of those guys to just like suddenly blow up on Edmonton. So it just takes one little spark for Edmonton. So it'd be an exciting game.
Yeah, I would lean toward the Oilers here, take the plus 150. I just like the plus money in the game. I do think it's going to be up and down. McDavid, 15 goals in 15 games, so we're still on the 50-50 watch, which I will be talking about. I loved following this when I was a kid. I think Brett Hall was the last one to do it in 96. No, maybe it was 93. It was a while ago. Anyone's gone 50 goals in 50 games. So it'd be phenomenal to see McDavid do it this year. Papa Dude, the other marquee matchup, my Carolina Hurricanes heading into Colorado, facing the Avalanche. Both of these teams starting to get it in the right direction here. Colorado minus 130, total 6.5. Can the Hurricanes go into Colorado and pull the upset?
So the Hurricanes are favored?
The Colorado's minus 130.
Oh, Colorado.
Your favorite, yeah.
I was going to say. Well, I thought last night my game was a lock. The Stars would beat the Sharks, and that was absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know why you're asking me. Should be another great game to watch, though. These are two really good teams. They're fun to watch them. Looks like Colorado may be starting to get it together a little bit more. I would lean towards them just because they're tough to beat in Denver. But this should be a good one.
I would almost lean toward the under 6.5 here. When you see Carolina play these better teams, their structure specifically slows the game down, and Colorado is naturally an over team. So I wouldn't be shocked if this one goes under 6.5 in Denver tonight. Magic, any thoughts on the Hurricane versus the Avalanche?
Colorado's tough, man. They're the defending Stanley Cup champions. I'm not going to bet this game. This was one that you can watch, but I just wouldn't touch this one betting wise. I don't have a good feel for it.
All right, let's jump over to the hardwood here, NBA action. I want to quickly mention a little four-banger that I kind of liked here. So I almost use this as my best bet. It's why I want to talk a little bit about the NBA on a packed college football Saturday. And don't worry, we'll get to best bets in a second here. Michael, I'm glad to hear you pounded that double. Don't worry, we're coming back with another double today. Nice little $530 winner yesterday. We'll be back with a double at Del Mar today, including 3 other best bets. Aaron's headed to Aqueduct, Papa Dude to the Gridiron, and Magic. I'll give you one guess who he's taking. So that in the NBA, I had 4 games I thought were pretty easy to pick here. Boston against Detroit. I like the Celtics pretty easily in that one. The Mavs taking on the Trailblazers, the Heat taking on Charlotte, and New Orleans taking on the Rockets. If you parlay the 4 on the money line together, you get plus 160. That was almost my best bet of the day because I don't see any of them losing. The big one that could lose, the one that's closest really is Dallas taking on Portland, but I feel like Dallas at home is going to be able to put them away. So that was the consideration from a money line parlay action. Papa, did you look at any NBA today?
Oh yeah, I did, but I just didn't. I'm not doing very well with the NBA right now. I'm struggling. I pick every game every day, and I'm not doing well this week. I was up until this week, so I'm really struggling. I would worry a little bit about that Portland game with Dallas. Dallas is not playing real well. I tell you a game I kind of like. Uh, the Nets are in LA to play the Clippers. The Nets are playing better. I don't know whether you've noticed, but Kyrie's out. Wow, revelation here. That
Funny
might
how
make a
works.
difference, huh? That might make a little bit of a difference, you think? And I don't think they've lost a game while he's been out. And the Clippers, crap. What you never know what you're going to get when the Clippers show up. So they're slight underdogs tonight. That might be one I would be interested in. And then the Hawks and the Sixers, that's a toughie to try to decide tonight too. Sixers 3.5, I think, or 3 over the Hawks.
3 over the Hawks.
Philly. I think I would take Philly in that one. But it's a good card tonight in the NBA.
Yeah, it's a fun little one. They are 3-1 since the Kyrie left. The
3-1.
one loss was by 2 points at Dallas. So a tough game, and they almost prevailed there as well. So you've seen them play significantly better since Kyrie left the lineup there. All right, let's head over to Del Mar, the race we're going to talk about today. Del Mar's 7th race, the stakes race on the card. One that Magic and I covered for the late pick 5. If you want to go check out the Magic Mike show, we got the full late pick 5 coverage there. But we're going to specifically talk about the stakes race here, and Burgu Ali, who's 9-5 on the morning line, your favorite, but has to face Bipartisanship, who is 3-1 second choice. Another Grand Motion shipping in from the East Coast. Magic, who do you like here?
Oh boy, this is so tough split between the 4 and the 5. I honestly don't remember who I had on top between the two of them. I'll talk about Burgu Ali because it's D'Amato and Flavian Pratt. This is a filly that looks like she should have a lone speed advantage. But she's had trouble finishing races, and she's been used as the rabbit for other Phil D'Amato horses against much tougher competition, grade 2 company for several races. The concern with using her, singling her when it looks like she's got lone speed, I just don't know if being the rabbit has kind of killed her mentality to keep wanting to fight. Like if her mentality has always been go out there, have fun, and as soon as you start getting past whatever, that's not a good thing when you've got a horse like Bipartisanship in here. So 4-5 is where we both went for our show.
Yeah, I had the 4 on top. I like Bipartisanship coming from the East Coast in Italian, Regal Glory, some really good horses on the running line. Papa Dude, what direction did you go here?
So you don't think that this could be a race where there might be an upset? Either one of you, you're really sold on those top two?
I think it's going to be tough to beat them. I have one horse, so I'm a little bit interested. I'm wondering if you're going to go to the same one.
Got before I make a fool out of myself.
I think that the 8 horse is slightly interesting. Gold for Kitten, John Sadler, John Velasquez, coming off a long layoff later in the 4-year-old season. Interesting spot to bring this horse back. And if you go back, the numbers fit here if we can improve. Now, the improvement is the key. It's why you're getting 8-1. But I wouldn't be shocked if the 8's in it here toward the end and you get a decent price there.
Good. That's the one I had. How about that? Anyway, on Burgu Ali, that horse is dropping down considerably from what she has been running. Now, sometimes that makes a difference and sometimes it doesn't. And Magic made a great point. She's going to have to run a different kind of race today where she's not up against the great horses that she's been up against because she's been in grade 2s and now she's dropping down to a 75K. She should win, I think, if you go by form, but I don't, you never know.
So the little 5-4-8 cold try. That's what we got to root home here. See if we can get a nice little price on the 3 of them. Michael, trying to guess the daily double. No, I did not start it with the 4 here. I do like the 9 in the next race quite a bit. So I'm not shocked. Especially
somebody listen to the Magic Mike show.
I was going to say the 9 is my single in the late pick 5 there because I do like the 9 quite a bit in the next spot. But I have a couple horses earlier on the Del Mar card that I'm going to lean on. All right, let's jump in to the best bets. We'll start out with Aaron here. He is headed to Aqueduct, race number 8, horse number 6 here. 2-1 on the morning line. It's an interesting race, going 1 mile and 3/16 over the dirt. You've got a couple speed horses in here, and Aaron's really relying on Irad Ortiz, obviously a very nice pickup there on the jockey side, and the fact that this horse really improved last time. If the horse repeats last time's effort, then this is not going to be even close because last time Unbridled Bomber ran was at Aqueduct. They went 1 mile and 1/8 and just stormed home, got a career-high 94 buyer. It's a 3-year-old who has every right to improve later in the 3-year-old season. A repeat of that race, and Unbridled Bomber is back in the winner's circle. I'm not so sure Umbrella Bomber is going to repeat that effort, but I know Aaron likes it, and that's going to be his best bet today, sitting at 2-1. Magic, you got a look on your face there like you want to talk about this one.
Senior Investment is still running. He's 8 years old and he's not gelded. This horse lost to Gervin in the Louisiana Derby. Think about how long ago that was. That's ridiculous. This horse is still going. I'm sorry. Yeah, this horse is great. I just can't get over the fact that Senior Investment is still running.
I love that you mentioned Gervin because Gervin is going to be one of my horses later. And I'm going to take a 2-year-old from Gervin just to bring it all back. So I love you going there. All right, Magic, give us your best bet here.
I'll go real quick. Yeah, Red Wings in town to face the LA Kings, and the Red Wings are better than they were last year. They've shown improvement, and the biggest thing is that they've shown that they respond to adversity. Earlier in the season, the Red Wings got their asses kicked by the Buffalo Sabres in a game where it was close until the third period, and then the Buffalo just started scoring. And the Red Wings just kind of gave up. And out of that, they then went to Washington, hosted the Capitals, beat them 3-1, then shut out the New York Islanders 3-0, then went to the Rangers and won in overtime. They're very strong off of adversity. And I bring that up because they were just hosting the New York Rangers in just like the Buffalo Sabres game. They were doing great. They were up, they were tied 2-2. And then all of a sudden it was 4-2, 6-2, and they lost 8-2. They respond well to adversity. The press conferences, they all sat there, the captain, the head coach, and were like, yeah, no, we screwed up. We know what we did wrong. We'll be better for it. That's all I need to hear. Playing the LA Kings, you're catching a great price on this. Let's go.
Well, Magic will personally get that crowd riled up for Detroit there. The Kings not that great. Their record's pretty good, but overall not that great of a team. I think it should be a little closer, like maybe plus 150-ish. So I do think you're getting some value here on the Wings. So hopefully we can get a home winner for you. And Magic will be back tomorrow, I think, for the Grey Cup playoffs. Is that right? We're the conference final.
Yeah, conference final. So we've got the Grey Cup is a week from Sunday. So we've got we're going to figure out who's going to play there.
I love it. All right, we're going to jump over to my best bet here. I'm going to Del Mar, race number 3, and I'm going to kick it off here with D'Amato and Pratt. This is a horse that they brought over from Europe to specifically run in the juvenile fillies turf at Del Mar. That's closing weekend, I believe, there at Del Mar, and was the favorite in that spot and had a ton of trouble. If you go back and watch the race, was kind of pinned inside early around that race. Didn't really get a good break. Ends up running on late, but couldn't get to Comanche Country. No shame in that. We're adding the blinkers, which I think is an interesting move here from D'Amato, who, when he adds the blinkers, is fairly good, 19%. And this is one where I think it just wants to get that horse a little bit more forwardly placed, specifically to get used to this U.S. turf style. You get Flavian Pratt aboard. I like this one here at 5-2. And I like the fact that the 2-horse, Pride of the Nile for O'Neill, is going to take some money. The fact that you have that horse in there means that we're going to get close to, my guess, is 7 or 8 to 5 here on the 1-horse. The best is yet to be. We're going to daily double that horse up with the 7, Fiazza, a $725,000 starter of Gervin. Gervin stands for $6,000. That is a lot of money for a horse that stands for $6,000. This horse was an absolute monster in the when they ran in the sales. The workouts fit. You get Flavian Pratt aboard. Not an owner that generally goes to Bob Baffert either, at least not with like the big time, big dollar horses. So the fact that you have this ownership group spending this much money on a Gervin, you get Pratt aboard, and the workouts fit. This is one of those babies I am excited to see her get out early and roll. All right, go ahead, Magic.
Slight correction. That's Gamin's owner. He actually does use Red. You might be thinking of someone else.
Okay.
But
that's even better then.
That's the Gamin money, by the way. You notice $725K. That's Gamin money for selling her before. The one horse I'd say that is going to help you also get a good price on the 7 is the 4, Tina Ella. It's Beholder's baby. She's reportedly working really well. I know people are excited about it. She's going to take a lot of money because people love Beholder. Beholder's first 2 kids, terrible. Like one of them never made it to I don't think he even made it to the races because he kept having problems wanting to mount horses in the gate. And then the other one just hasn't turned that into anything. So I think you got a great spot here to somehow catch a price on a $725,000 Bob Baffert 2-year-old.
You also have 2 $725,000 Baffert 2-year-olds in here as well. The 3 Wuddy is a $725,000 Uncle Mo baby. But I didn't like that one as much. When you kind of compare the workouts, I think the 7 is a little bit better. I also like that you have Pratt aboard. The 4-horse, I wrote in the margins, 2 turns. This just seems like a 2-turn horse. Warfront out of Beholder, that's not sprint pedigree to me. That's 2-turn pedigree. So I think this one gets better as she gets older. So I'm interested in watching that. And hopefully those 2 horses take some money and we can get some nice prices home. I love what Lord Freak's saying here 16-1 on the double based on the overseas odds. We're getting 7-2 on the best is yet to be, 11-4 on Frieza. I think both of them are going to be tough to beat. Would love to get a 16-1 after getting that 5. I was happy with 5-1 yesterday. So
that was a nice surprise. Yeah.
Be freaking phenomenal in this spot. All right, Papa Dude, let's close it out. You're headed to the other ranked game. It's the reason why we did not cover this. We got Tulane and UFC. Tulane laying 1 at home. Tell us why you like them.
Well, I've got a little bit of a personal connection with the head coach of Tulane. I followed his career, and a good buddy of mine really knows him well. His brother coached for him. So I watch Tulane a lot, and I follow them, and I really like them. They also have beautiful uniforms. I don't know if you've ever seen some of their
Green Wave, baby.
Yeah. So this is the biggest game they've played, and I don't know how long. Now, I don't know what kind of fan support they have down there, but I think it's decent when they have a good team, and I think that place is going to be rocking. Central Florida's quarterback situation's a little iffy. Their number one guy got hurt. Don't know whether he's playing or not. They've been depending on the run a lot, and Tulane can shut the run down. I think that's the key to the game if they can do it. They're extremely well coached. They're playing well, and I'm going to root for them, and I love the line. We didn't have a red wave on Tuesday. I'm hoping for a green wave today. Go green wave.
This is one where you always talk about good offense and good defense and who wins out. I would say about 70% of the time, the defense wins out in that spot.
Yeah.
Tulane here is the good defense versus the UCF good offense. I think UCF has picked on a lot of weaker schools to put those numbers up. I mean, SMU, Temple, Memphis kind of struggled offensively against Cincinnati. And I'd say that's a closer comp to this Tulane defense than anyone else they played. If Tulane can run the ball, this could get out of hand on the UCF side. I love the fact that you're getting them at home as well. So like the -1 there. All right, Magic. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up here?
Nope. Go Red Wings.
All right, there we go. All right, let's cover the best bets real quick. We've got 4 of them here for a college football Saturday. Papa Dude taking Tulane -1. Magic going with the Red Wings +190. He will be there. So buy him a beer if you're going to that Red Wings Kings game. Aaron headed to Aqueduct, race number 8, horse number 6, 2-1 on the morning line. And I apparently taking a shot at a double. I didn't think it was going to pay that much. Delmar, race number 3, daily double. Give me the 1 into the 7 in the 4th race. For the week, we're 3-6, but hey, look at that. We're up $190, up $1,579 for the year off $100 base bets. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here. We will be back tomorrow at the regular time, noon Eastern, to talk NFL Sunday, talk about some horses, some basketball, some hockey, and, of course, Magic will be returning with his Grey Cup picks, everything that you'd ever wanted from a football Sunday. All right, everyone, have a good one. Good luck at the racetrack. Good luck with the sports bets. We'll see you tomorrow.